Workshops. The quintessential way to combat wages in the game, dating back 11 years from Warband to Bannerlord. Buy a shop, get some wages to make things a little bit easier to get later into the game so you don't have to worry about money all the time. It was a timeless, simple, and easy mechanic that wasn't overcomplicated, needing micromanagement that everyone could understand and didn't need a degree in economics to even have to worry about. Then 1.8 patch hit and changed everything. They introduced a new economy system just months before full release, nearly 2 years into early access. And all I could say is, what the f-? I was able to do 2 more videos and finally had to stop. My old, tested, true method of doing workshop videos no longer was viable. So I sat around for 3 months trying to figure out a new system that could help people. While trying to figure it out, Tailworld threw us another curveball, full release. With it came increased prices to buy shops, nearly double. Workshops made the same or less, and Tailworld felt the urge to say, we're making it more convoluted and complex to know what to do. Finally, in 1.0.3, I was able to figure out a new system to let everyone know what shops were best. Instead of what shop is the best for each town, I had to figure out what shops were best for each patch. That had to be coupled together with another workshop video, sending you to school, teaching everyone how to pick the perfect shop. You are now required to watch one video, learn a system, then watch a patch video to know what shops were doing good for that patch. Can anyone say overcomplicated and unnecessary? Therein lies the problem. You went from a simple, easy to understand system to this convoluted way of having to be an investigator, trying to figure out what to put and where to put it. Kind of like the first time you did something else, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, boy.
That is the problem when you try to go complex. You make things that are easy to understand and now is too far out there that a lot of people are completely lost and have no idea what's going on. To top it off, then you nearly double the price to make them even more unappealing to even worry about. Are you trying to make the game easier to understand or needing a calculus class to play a video game? I was able to muster through and get a couple workshop videos out that I was just content with, as I felt I wasn't able to fully get everyone to know what exactly to do and seemed to raise more questions than it answered. But heck, that is our system. Just deal with it.
No, it'll be fine.
Then Tailworld does it again. They released patch 1.2. While this was a welcome sight in which workshops have a storage for you for input and output to make it easier, it still requires the big time waster to do it. Micro management. To be an effective workshop, micromanagement is really needed. It means you need to make sure that the input is there and cheap enough, and then you need to buy the output so the shops make money, since if the shop isn't going to make money, it just won't run and go idle. At least under the old system, it would still produce, and you could stop back, buy all the goods, and the shop keeps running. But now it just goes idle till it can make money again. This is the biggest problem with 1.2 and why I have no plans to make a workshop video. Let's run through all the fun mechanics that make shops one of the worst investments in history. First, the cost. It costs between $25,000 to $45,000 just to buy a workshop, and if the shop makes $200 a day, that's 120 to 240 days just to get your investment back. Second, you have the input. In Bannerlord, or what I call Raider Lord, every time there is a war, villages get burned fast by single clans. These guys are taking the input that you need to have to run your shops or they go idle. Lastly, you have the biggest problem, the output. In 1.2, you have about 30 to 40 days a shop can run. They produce so much that the price of your output is so low, between 40 to 70% below the global average, that now shops won't run again. That makes two key things that will make a shop go idle and get you nothing. They almost require you to micromanage, what I call it, making sure that there is cheap enough input and buying low price output nearly every month, or your shop will not run. I tested for 2 days and every test came out near the same. 30 to 40 days, the shop goes idle. So it's buy the output constantly, make sure there is cheap input, but not too cheap that the caravan snatch it up, or goodbye profits. Some people can just say, well, you have a new workshop mechanic, just apply input and store the output and sell it. For one, that also requires micromanagement. And two, if you have artisan community trade perk, then that will do nothing for you, as the shop needs to be profitable to get renown. As you can see, an easy to understand system has turned into this wild, almost side game of trading, which a lot don't want to do. I'm not saying that the system is terrible. The idea is actually sound, but the implementation of it is badly executed. You have so many factors going on that it requires you to learn multiple aspects of the game and mechanics just to try to make a couple hundred dinars a day. Not my idea of fun, as I want to fight and build up my character, not worry about playing a workshop game every 30 days just to make pennies on the dollar to make ends meet. For a channel that has gotten nearly 500,000 views from workshop videos, to tell you that there is a problem is a telling sign. What can we do? Or shall I say, Tail World do? The new workshop mechanic is nice, since we could supply input from time to time, but two major things need to happen. First, the price of shops need to be lowered. I'm not sure what the right amount is, 25%, 50%. That is something that needs to be calculated so the profit isn't too easy, but doesn't take years to pay off, as who would invest $30,000 into a shop to wait 2 years to make profit? If you think that's good, I got some tickets to the moon I got to sell you. And the output. This is the biggest problem to tackle. Even without the steward sweatshop perk, I was unable to keep most shops running for more than 30 days before there was so much output that it halted production. Since the economy is complex, this is an issue I have no answer for at this time. If you lower the output, then the world can run out of that product. So figuring out how to handle this massive output without micromanaging becomes a chore. The problem is most people never realize they aren't truly making money, as they don't watch shops every day to see if they go idle. They just look at their income screen from time to time, and the shop could be running fine when they check, until they look one time and see all zeros like a stock market crash. It's between those times that it can go idle and you miss it. I'm all for complexity in games. Look at Paradox Game, the epitome of complexity, but they do it in a way that doesn't take other aspects of the game but complement them. Workshops don't do that. They are so complex, ever changing each patch, and mind boggling that what you do in one patch is thrown aside the next one, as things are thrown into chaos every time we get a new patch. Tailworld needs to try and simplify the system a bit to make it better for all. Slightly cheaper shops to make the investment worth it. Villages aren't raided every 5 seconds, cutting off your input supply. And managing the output of shops so they aren't constantly going for 50% or more below the global average, stopping all production for days or even weeks. Tailworld needs to seriously rethink what they have done, as they have turned a simple, easy to understand wage counter into an overcomplicated mess of a micromanagement game that a lot of people don't want to try to understand, can't understand, or refuse even to learn. Complexity is nice when it's done right. When it's done wrong over the course of 3 patches and a year, it just becomes a jumbled mess that people just say,
No, it'll be fine.
can we just see a fix in the future? I highly doubt it, as it takes Tailworld months to even years to get things done, and I see no change on the horizon. A mechanic I look forward to each patch, to make a video, get exposure, and a little revenue. Now it's something I dread, as I know it will just be a jumbled mess that people won't understand and ask a million questions, since most of the time they will lose money, and I will have a hard time trying to explain what they should do when I, myself, am starting to get lost with it, like when I used to take shots for donations on streams. Let me tell you how bad that went. Who makes an investment to just constantly lose money? The whole mechanic just feels off, shallow, and a time waster for all involved. As I hope Tailworld will see this in act, I don't think we will see shops ever return to their 11-year-old former glory of Warband and early Bannerlord days. Tailworld has taken us down a path we can never turn back from. A one-way street with no good end in sight. Just a lost, bleak, and uninteresting mechanic that many hate or won't even use again with how badly it's been implemented. A sad day has officially arrived. The end of workshops as we know it will never be like they were before. Now just wasted space, only meant for certain situations like renown gain, producing beer for food variety, or traders that can cash in if they know what they are doing. For everyone else, just a jumbled mess we just want to throw away and never look at again. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Go away now.